time to address them to the council. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move, oh, excuse me.
David Jenkins.
Hi, David, how are you?
Hi. Good evening, Council. On the TIF funds, you're just now saying this resolution is to create a TIF fund. The plans going forward now, I understand, are to add on, or how are we with this VB Diggs deal, or isn't this the time to bring that up?
Well, all of the above. What we're doing now, David, is we're in the beginning, the very beginnings of setting up the TIF district. Chuck, I suspect that you can do a better job of this than I
Well,
can.
I think I understand where Mr. Janke is coming from. There's a number of things happening at the same time. In order for the city to capture the new taxes that the volleyball center would build, should it be built, should we come to an agreement with them on what would get built, we need to proceed through the legal steps to create the tax increment financing district. This is separate from the use of the TIF funds that were used to purchase the building back last year, and the TIF funds that we've been talking about using to do the construction. Those are TIF funds that are already in hand. The TIF district here would be a creation that would capture the new property taxes that in this case VB Diggs would be paying over the next number of years to pay the city back for those improvements that have been made and some of the improvements that yet have to be made on the site, such as parking and some other public improvements, sewer, water, that kind of thing. We're still talking with them about. So this is a little bit different than probably what you've been hearing from us in the use of existing funds that have been generated by the three districts that we already have and are commonly referred to as excess increment that can be used for the purchase of the Bellray, for instance, and the improvements that are yet to come. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
Yes, that answers that.
Okay.
Thank you, David. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, at this time, I'll close the public hearing.
Continue,
Oh, no?
continue the public hearing until April 28th.
Okay, I thought we'd do that by motion.
Well,
Okay.
I think
All
technically
right.
what you've done is
All
you've
right.
given notice for tonight, so we just want to
Then
continue.
I need a motion to continue the public hearing.
I'll move to continue the public hearing to, is it April 28th?
28th, yeah.
I'll second.
Motion Trude, second Stigney. Further discussion?
I do. I have a question.
He's trying.
Hobble up there.
Cam
Give
Obert.
him hop along over.
Yes. 8315 Greenwood.
Hi, Cam.
I've been a supporter of nuisance codes and their enforcement since I moved into Mounds View in 1990. Mounds View does seemingly have a reputation as collections of junk, and this staff, because I've worked with Jim pretty close on this, there's files on countless properties in the city of Mounds View, countless. We drove around and it was mentioned to me we can find violations on every city block. It's kind of a sad commentary on what's, as far as the city goes, for what's happened up to this point. Council last year passed a new nuisance codes that put some teeth into the enforcement of the codes. That's terrific. There's files inches thick back in these offices of ongoing activity with many property owners in this city for years. With the constant turnover of personnel in the city in the last 5-6 years, guess what? The ball gets dropped, the ball gets dropped, the ball gets dropped, the ball gets dropped. I think every person since I've been in this town in 90 or 91 that I've talked to as far as this nuisance code enforcement goes, every one of them is overworked. They don't have time to address it. Yes, they understand my concerns about my property value being affected by somebody who wants to keep their RVs and boats and snowmobiles and garbage on their lawns, rather than if they're going to be a junk collector going up north somewhere and buying a dump and keeping it. They don't understand, the people that do that, they don't understand what happens to their neighbors' property values. The city needs to take action. not just on this one particular property, but you can go all over the city and find them. There's files where letters have been sent to homeowners given deadlines to clean up their acts. They can't get followed up on. It's too big for one person to handle. Because that one person that's supposed to be doing it also has umpteen other duties to do in the city. Something's got to be done, because I know I'm bothered by my property value not going anywhere. I'm bothered when I see a beautiful house at the end of my street that should have sold right away, but because I think the eyesore across the street kept that home on the market for entirely too long. And possibly, well, I shouldn't say possibly, I'm sure it affected its value, its ultimate selling price. I don't, it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating because I come from a place on the East Coast that had very tough covenants. I mean, I had to apply to paint the front door on my house and get approval. And I had to watch the committee go through the town with rulers measuring the length of your grass in your yard. We had a designated place on the lot to stack our firewood. My house in 4 years gained $70,000 in value when I sold it. This isn't rocket science. You know, I don't know if we have to legislate that people take pride in their property. I mean, do we have to make laws to say you will be proud of your property? But that's what I think that's what it's coming to. And this poor guy here, Jim, is just working his rear end off. And we need to, somehow or other, we need to give this guy some help, because we got to kind of clean some of these troubled properties up. So that's what I got to say, and I want to compliment Jim and certainly Pam and all the staff. They do such a terrific job. God knows they're way overworked and underpaid. But anyway, that's my comments.
Cam, I'm going to rule you out of order. Thank you, Cam. I wish you'd stop beating around the bush, though. Yes, sir, you certainly can. You can speak to this council at any time.
David Jenke, 8428 Eastwood Road. I just do want to make a comment. What this gentleman calls junk sometimes might be junk to another person. This village took me to court, and a judge ruled, and I didn't even hire an attorney. They took me to court, and they lost, because the judge didn't think what you think is junk, what I think is junk. So we do have to be careful. When we make statements like that, then we might as well move to Russia, because I don't like those types of statements. We're not living under a communist government where somebody's going to come and say, you're going to do this and you're going to measure your grass. And I hope this council never gets to those kind of rules and regulations.
Dave, I can assure you that we are restricting our involvement to the health issues mainly. Batteries piled around the yard, battery acid, hazardous waste, things of that nature. And we accept your comments with serious regard. Is there anybody else who wishes to address this issue? Now somebody has to remind me if I didn't call for the vote. Did I? We have a motion to approve the resolution. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.